Hello, this is John Paval with Access Arts Live once again with your weekly roundup this week of orchestral works from all over the map, mostly in Europe, but all the way out in Siberia, as well as in other parts of Europe and in Germany and in the UK. Before we get going, let me remind you, if you're watching us on Facebook, please click the like button on the video and we'll send you an invitation to follow us. If you're watching on YouTube, click subscribe, please. And please don't just like the video on our other platforms. If you see us there, like us, follow or subscribe to us on X, TikTok, Instagram, and or Threads. And in return, we promise we will get to you 1,000, more than 1,000 live links to live performances online this year. We're already well on our way to doing so. So let me get started right away with what I can tell you about what we have coming up. Because as you can see from the photo there beside me, we have excellent soloists on the piano, on the violin, on the tuba, among other things. We've got terrific conductors, Lian Yi Lu, the New Zealand Chinese conductor, and Berendeyev from Siberia, and others. Marvelous soprano, Marlis Peterson. On Sunday at the end of the week, I'll tell you all about her. So let's start getting down to more specifics. All right. Hold on one second. I want to give you the appropriate photo to go with each introduction that I give you. And what I want to do is give you a photo of Stephen Hoff. I hope that's the way he pronounces it. You know how sometimes you find recordings on YouTube of a composer like Ravel or Korngold playing one of his own works? Well, you have a chance to do that with the living composer, Stephen Hoff, on Wednesday, February 26th, with the live stream of the Bournemouth Symphony Orchestra. I suppose a Brit would probably pronounce it Bournemouth rather than Bournemouth, but I'm an American, so I get British pronunciation wrong sometimes. Anyway, that will be on Wednesday, February 26th, 7:30 in the evening, British time, 8:30 in the evening in Europe, 2:30 in the afternoon on the East Coast, and 11:30 in the morning on the West Coast. And it's on their own booking system. It will cost you 10 British pounds. It may be worth it to you, though. They're going to be doing Brahms's Symphony No. 3, which is, the musicologists tell us that this is a musical self-portrait. So I invite you to listen to it and decide for yourself what it tells you about the master composer. Then they'll be doing Stephen Hoff's piano concerto called The World of Yesterday, and this was composed by Sir Stephen Hoff. Yes, he's a sir now. Sir Stephen Hoff himself. So you get to hear the composer play his own work. And the title of it, The World of Yesterday, is based on Stefan Zweig's memoir of his cultural life in Vienna before the First World War. So it's nostalgia for a bygone era. And then they will finish up with Elgar's Enigma Variations, which is an intriguing and lovely piece, but they'll add to it with writings. They say that the Enigma Variations is actually a portrait gallery of Elgar's friends, family, and neighbors. And so they are going to include Mark Wigglesworth has compiled a selection of Elgar's own writings about the people in his life, and they'll be delivered by actor Walter Van Dyke during the concert. So that's an interesting one for you for several reasons, don't you think? Okay. Well, I think so anyway. And this then brings us to one of the conductors that I told you about, whom I like so much. And, you know, I've been, I've kind of dissed him in the past saying, well, is he up to this challenge or not or whatever? But I think he is constantly putting on interesting programming way out there in Tomsk, Siberia. So there he is for you, showing you him at work, very serious. Conductor Igor Berendeyev and the Tomsk Philharmonic bring you an interesting live stream concert this week, Thursday, February 27th, with a chamber string ensemble playing a Bach Brandenburg Concerto, Prokofiev, and Schubert. Yes, it's called String Matrix, and they just take a string ensemble from their Philharmonic. This will be at 1 o'clock. This will be at, well, it's going to be 7 o'clock in the evening KRAT time, which is Siberia, which means 1 o'clock in the afternoon in Europe, 7 in the morning on the East Coast, and 4 a.m. on the West Coast. I doubt you'll get up for that. But 11 o'clock in the evening, the same day, Australian Eastern Daylight Time. They'll be doing one of Bach's Brandenburg concertos. We don't know which one. Berendeyev is going to choose one out of the 6. Then, bear in mind, this is a string ensemble doing it. Then they will be doing Prokofiev's Fleeting Moments, which was originally a set of piano miniatures readapted to be played by a string ensemble. And then they'll be doing Schubert's Death in the Maiden string quartet, Opus 14 in D minor. Now that was written as a string quartet. They've adapted it for the chamber ensemble, the string ensemble. It's that was written in 1824, not long after Schubert had learned that he had a fatal illness and would not survive. And so you can understand why I'd be thinking of Death and the Maiden. So that's that for you from coming to you from the Tomsk Philharmonic on Thursday. Now, the Tomsk Philharmonic will be back on Sunday, and let me tell you about that one too. If you love Russian poetry and understand it, the Tomsk Philharmonic live streams a literary concert for you on Sunday, March 2nd, which is all about the unique Russian poet Sergei Yesenin. I don't know anything about Sergei Yesenin, and I don't speak Russian, so I don't know if I'll be tuning in. But it will be Igor Berendeyev conducting as usual. It will be Fyodor Kalinin, a baritone from Moscow, soloist from the Tomsk Philharmonic. And there will be actors reading poems by Yesenin and literary writings about Yesenin, his biography. He's apparently a very well-known poet in Russia, but I don't know if he's known outside of Russia at all, except by Russian experts. So there's that from Tomsk again on Sunday, March 2nd. What do we have next for you? Next for you, we have more Russian stuff coming at you now. The next concert that I want to tell you about is from this symphony orchestra, which is almost 90 years old. It's the Svetlanov Symphony Orchestra playing at the Moscow Philharmonic, a program called 21st Century Stars. They'll be doing Grieg's Concerto for Piano and Orchestra in A minor, Opus 16, Ernest Chausson's Poem for Violin and Orchestra, Opus 25, and Ravel's Concerto No. 1 for Piano and Orchestra in G major. These soloists are young, up-and-coming musicians. That's about all I know about this one. It's you can check it out on the Moscow Phil website for more information. Then we come to Friday, and on Friday we have 3 different live streams going on for you, which, if you ask me, are going to be difficult to make choices between, because all 3 of these live streams on Friday, they sound pretty interesting to me. Although I'm not sure if I don't want to qualify them. You decide for yourself. It's going to depend on what your favors are, what kind of music you like. Because all 3 of these orchestras are fine orchestras. It's going to be the Gulbenkian Orchestra, the Frankfurt Radio Symphony, and the Bavarian Radio Symphony. And these are all quality orchestras. So let me start out and give you an announcement for the first of them. Do I have the photo up for them? Yeah, it's a Wagner, Bruckner thing again. Friday, February 28th, the Gulbenkian Orchestra revisits the bromance between Bruckner and Wagner with selections from Tristan and Isolde and Bruckner's 7th Symphony, free of charge. I don't know how much you know about the relationship between Wagner and Bruckner, but Bruckner was artistically in love with Wagner. Now they'll be doing Wagner's Tristan and Isolde, the Prelude, and the Liebestod, which is going to come back later in another concert this week. And then Bruckner's Symphony No. 7, which I think I already said. It's an E major. Now, Bruckner first met Wagner in 1865 at the premiere of Wagner's Tristan and Isolde, so you can see why they picked that. And Bruckner's Symphony No. 7 is an open homage to Wagner, which Bruckner completed after attending Parsifal at Beirut. In the final meeting between the two composers. So these two pieces they're playing, first by Wagner and Bruckner, are related to their first meeting and their last meeting. And if you love that kind of music and are interested in that relationship and seeing how it may be manifested in the music, well, this is right up your alley. See what I'm saying? Okay, so that's one choice, and that's not the only one. I mean, we've got another choice coming up after this one, which is, as the French would say, not uninteresting in their way of using understatement to give praise. There's a photo there of Ole Hyland, who's a tubist, tuba player, and a very interesting conductor, Tian-Yi Liu. Let me do the introduction for that and then tell you more about it. They tell us the dance meets tuba this Friday, February 28th, in the Frankfurt Radio Symphony's live stream, featuring the symphony's hotshot tubist Ole Hyland playing John Williams's lively tuba concerto. That's right. John Williams composed the movie composer who's been writing terrific scores for films for, you know, the last half of the 20th century and the beginning of the 21st century. No one wrote better for film than John Williams. Anyway, he composed a tuba concerto for the 100th anniversary of the very lively Boston Pops Orchestra. Frankfurt Radio Symphony is playing it this Friday. The concert's at 7 in the evening European time, 1 in the afternoon on the East Coast, and 10 in the morning on the West Coast. It's on Facebook. It's on YouTube. We'll give you the link, and also on the Frankfurt Radio Symphony's own website. After they have done the tuba concerto, then they take a break and they come back and they're doing what they call a grotesque counterpart to it, Igor Stravinsky's Petrushka in the 1947 version. I am not a musicologist. I could not tell you the difference between the 1947 version and some other version, but if you are, then you would know that. So anyway, but for dance lovers, Stravinsky is always a terrific experience. So we'll make sure to copy this particular notice to the Facebook groups that we're a part of, which are devoted to ballet. Who is Ole Hyland? He's a young guy. He's 27 years old. And a couple years ago, when the principal tubist of this orchestra retired, he won the contest to take his place. He studied at the Leipzig University of Music. He was there like in 2015 and some years after that. Won multiple awards for playing the tuba. He's played with the Boston Symphony Orchestra, the MDR Symphony Orchestra. He's also been a tuba player in the jazz ensemble of the Hessische Rundfunk Orchestra. Anyway, so I don't know. I think, you know, compared to the Wagner Bruckner thing that's on at roughly the same time from Gulbenkian, this one is a whole lot more fun. I guarantee you that. But they're on at exactly the same time, so it's a choice you have to make. The conductor is Tian-Yi Liu. Do I have their pictures up for you? Yeah, I'm so glad I remembered to do that. Okay, and Tian-Yi Liu, she is, surprise, another Dudamel fellow. Gustavo Dudamel at the LA Phil, who is going to the New York Phil next year, set up this program for conducting fellows, and a number of really interesting, dynamic, rising star women composers went to them, and Tian Yi Lu did too. She's Chinese born, but she's a New Zealander. In 2020, she won first prize in a couple of competitions for conductors in Europe, one in Italy and Georg Solti's competition as well. They named her then conductor in residence at the Stavanger Symphony Orchestra in Norway. Before that, she was the assistant conductor of the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra from 2017 to 2019. Now she's living in Europe, and she's guest conducting all over the place. I do not see in her bio that she's currently permanently at any other orchestra. So that's another interesting pairing of a tuba player and a very interesting conductor. Check her out. They describe her in the program that she's very dynamic or something. But typically, many of these young women conductors, they are dynamic. It's so much fun watching them, rather than like these, white-haired guys who are 70 years old who are just kind of, twitching their wrist a little bit. I love these women conductors. So happy to see them. Sometimes often at the symphony, I sit in the last row. I sit in the back row of whatever section I'm in. So if I feel I just have to stand up to enjoy it, I can, and I'm not blocking anybody's views. So now we have one more concert that I want to tell you about, and this one is an hour later, so you can watch the first half of either of these other concerts on Friday and still get to some of this one. The Bavarian Radio Symphony live streams Tchaikovsky, played by a pianist who knows how, and Shostakovich, conducted by a conductor who knows how, Friday, February 28th. It's hard to do better than this if you love these Russian masters. How was that for an intro cut down to 20 seconds that I could put up on Facebook separately come Friday? Anyway, you've got it. This is they'll be playing Luigi Dalla Piccola's Due Pezzi. I don't know what that is. Then Tchaikovsky's Piano Concerto No. 1 in B minor, Opus 23, with Beatrice Rana as a soloist. There's a picture of her. She comes from a family of pianists. There were 5 pianos in her childhood home. And they tell us she's known for her electrifying playing, which is really fine for playing Tchaikovsky's Piano Concerto, I think. And then they'll do Shostakovich's Symphony No. 6 in B minor, Opus 54. My favorite is the 5th, but the 6th is good. All of Shostakovich is good. And the conductor is Gianandrea Noseda. He's from Milan, and he's known for his recordings of Shostakovich. So, if you love these Russian masters, this is a great concert for you too. 3 great concerts on Thursday evening. How do you choose? I don't know. Moving right along, we have, I think, only 2 more concerts to tell you about. I'm so happy. We'll probably get in under 25 minutes today. I'm trying to reduce the time of these so we don't go 30, 35 minutes. I see that we have some people watching there, and I'm so happy to see you. It's so great to have a live stream audience. Invite your friends to watch these live streams. It's usually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 or 6:30 in the evening. So anyway, let's move on to this second last of the concerts. This is very interesting too. I got to tell you. Well, wait, there's one I wanted. We will put in the chronology of links. There's a live stream by the Saarbrück Radio Philharmonic Orchestra called Ganz Großes Orenkino. And they'll be doing works by Rotas, Skalkotas, and Theodorakis. It's a very Greek kind of evening with Greek dances and music from Zorba, the Greek in it. The conductor is Tsialis, and the soloist is one of the soloists is Mikhail Pavlos on the double bass. Saturday, March 1st, the Berlin Phil delivers its usual high-quality programming with a live stream featuring Finnish conductor Dalia Stasevska and a piece by the Finnish Parisian composer Kaija Saariaho. So I think, I try to find out what's most interesting in each of these concerts. And this one, the Berlin Phil is always great, but this one won't be free. It'll cost you a minimum $9.90 for a weekly ticket. Dahlia, they'll be doing Sibelius's piece, Poyola's Daughter, a symphonic fantasy, Opus 49, which is a tone poem on a Finnish legend. Then they'll do Grieg's Concerto for Piano and Orchestra in A minor, Opus 16, and Jean-Frédéric Neuberger on the pianist. And he's also a composer who's written his own piano concerto. He might be older than Grieg was when Grieg composed this piece, because Grieg was only 25. And then they will do in the second half the piece called Orion by Kaija Saariaho, this Finnish composer who moved to Paris and spent most of her life there in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. She died just a little over a year ago in 2023, only 70 years old, and it's too bad because she probably had a lot of music left in her. And they'll finish up with Debussy's La Mer, so which is a lovely piece. Dahlia Stasevska is currently the chief conductor of the Lahti Symphony Orchestra in Finland, which is one of their top orchestras, and principal guest conductor at the BBC Symphony Orchestra. So come on, she's good. And she's so good that in 2023, BBC Music Magazine named her Personality of the Year. Okay, and as for Saariaho, I've already told you something about her, but she composed, I think, something like 100 different works in her lifetime. She early in her life, back in the 80s, when she was still coming out of the Sibelius Academy in Finland, she also went down to Paris, where she learned about electronic music and then and computers, and that became an element of her compositional technique. So two Swedish women, Finnish conductor and Finnish composer. Come on, that's good, What can I say? Very, very thematic. All right, we have one more concert now to tell you about, and it features someone whom I think, if you love music and you like song, you don't want to miss this concert. If you ask me, this is the most interesting live stream concert coming up this week. So let me tell you about it, okay? I think the best orchestral live stream this week comes to you from the Hungarian National Philharmonic, because they bring in the highly accomplished soprano Marlis Peterson to sing songs by Ernest Chausson, Sunday, March 2nd. That's right. Now, they will be doing, this is coming to you from MOPA, which is that auditorium in Budapest, where I have so much trouble figuring out from their website when they're doing what. But a very good friend of mine turned me on to this particular one, and I will tell you more about her in another live stream. I don't have all the information in front of me. But her name is Claudia, and she's a darling. Anyway, they'll be doing Wagner's Prelude from Tristan und Isolde, including Isolde's Liebestod from Tristan und Isolde, which was at an earlier concert earlier today that we were telling about. I think it was the one from Gulbenkian. Then they'll be doing Ernest Chausson's Poème de l'amour et de la mer, the poem of love and of the sea, Opus 19. And one of the earlier live streams this week, they were doing Chausson's Poème de l'amour et de la mer for the violin, I think it was. But this is the songs version of it, and Marlis Peterson will be singing them. Then they will finish up with Bartók's Concerto for Orchestra, which composed in 1943, but revised in 1945. He composed that in America, which makes it a very interesting piece. What did the experience of being in America, how did it affect him? Marlis Peterson's German. She's a coloratura soprano. And where does she sing? She sings everywhere. The Opéra de Paris, the La Monnaie in Brussels, the Berlin, Hamburg, Munich, Vienna State Operas, etc. The LA Opera, the Chicago Lyric Opera. They bring her in at Salzburg and Aix-en-Provence festivals. I mean, she's it. She's the bee's knees. And these days, after so much operatic success, she is focusing more on singing Lieder. So this is a chance to hear an accomplished artist who's really proven herself everywhere singing opera as she starts doing more leader singing, which is a natural thing to do as a career as a singer progresses, because what it takes to keep singing those opera roles becomes tougher and tougher the older you get. Folks, that's what we have for this week. I hope one more or any of these live streams rings the bell for you, inspires you, uplifts you, or just shows you a great time. And I want to remind you, if you've watched this or find this on Facebook, click the like button so we can invite you to follow us. On YouTube, click on the subscribe, please. And on our other platforms, don't just like this video. Come on, if you like this video, and many of you do, a lot of people on TikTok, for instance, don't just like the video anymore, like us. Follow or subscribe to us on X, TikTok, Instagram, and or Threads if that's where you watch this, okay? And in return, you will get the live links to more than 1,000 live performances online this year. We're already well on the way to doing that. Thanks again for tuning in and for watching this whenever you do. And if you watch any of these things on YouTube, make sure you check in the chat box and see if Access Arts Live is there. If I am there, that's me. Say hello and let me know I was the one who brought you there. And if I'm not there, let the moderator know to say, hey, Access Arts Live brought me to this live stream. Have a great week. Bye.